Here's a challenge for you. Can you explain your business in one sentence? If not, maybe it's time to align your message and get that really clear. Welcome to Inner Business, the podcast that delves deep into the soul of entrepreneurship. My name is Selena Woodward, seasoned business owner, qualified business coach, and intuitive guide. I'm going to offer you actionable steps to increase your revenue whilst we explore how you are showing up in your business. Let's explore the blocks and connect the dots on your journey to business fulfillment. So, how did you go with that little challenge there? I'm curious, did you manage to come up with one sentence that explains what you do, how you help people, and how they can work with you? That's not what I said, is it? I said, explain your business. What's coming up for you? When I ask you that question, tell me what you do in one sentence. Do you get that kind of rabbit in the headlights moment where you're like, I don't know, what do I say? I remember feeling like that too, particularly when I transitioned from the CEO and founder of a SaaS business to a business coach. And I used to just say, oh yeah, I'm a business coach. But the problem with saying what you do, literally, like what your service or your product is that we don't invite anyone to get curious. And if you listen to last week's episode, you'll know how important curiosity is in the marketing and sales process. So instead of saying what you do, we want to be able to have a message that pulls our client in, asks our customer to lean in, and invites them to ask some questions. When I say I'm a business coach, I'm not talking about my customers' problems. I'm not talking about how I can help them solve those problems. And I'm actually expecting my customer to understand what a business coach is and how that can help them. And that's going to take them a lot of calories, as Don Miller would say, to work out. And the more calories we ask them to burn to try and work out what we're trying to offer them, the more likely they are to just wave goodbye and head off into the sunset. In fact, a recent survey by Zipia found that 46% of businesses were losing revenue because their messaging wasn't clear. That number is way too big. And in my event happening next week on the 15th of October, I'm going to give you a calculator that you can use to work out the numbers. What revenue could you be leaving on the table if your messaging isn't aligned and isn't clear? You can come along. It's totally free. Come and grab that calculator. Just head to selenawoodward.com/event. Sign up, come join me, okay? I'm going to give you that calculator because it's really interesting what the impact can be on the bottom line, on the revenue, if our message is confusing. Now, in the event on Tuesday, we will be diving deeper into reasons why your messaging may not be aligned and what might actually be going on. I'll be there coaching you, asking you questions, and leading you through a process to allow you to evaluate your marketing and start to tweak to transform. Hopefully, I'm sure it will, giving you results and changing things up so more clients come towards your door and want to pop in. Your messaging is everywhere. It's on your emails, it's on your website, it's in your socials, it's on your business card if you're doing business cards. Your message is there in the way your team talks to your customer. It is in so many really important places in your business that it is no wonder that that figure exists. 46% of businesses are losing money because that messaging isn't right. It's so important. It's too important to not work on. So again, selenawoodward.com/event. Come play with me. Let me coach you through some of this. What are some of the common reasons that messaging is not aligned? Well, maybe if I look at your website, what I witness is a big picture of you and lots of information about your qualifications and what you do and the services you offer. That's quite a common thing that I see. And again, when you do that, you're not talking about your customer, their problem, and what they need. And how you have what they need. You can give them the support. You can be the guide with either your product or your service to help them move forward. Instead, you make yourself the hero and not the guide by talking about how you have all these qualifications and you've got all this experience without having a conversation about the actual hero of the story, which is your customer. That can make a lot of wobbly, icky energy that's quite confusing when somebody comes to your website. Yes, they want to know that you have authority, but they also want to see empathy from you. They want to feel seen and they want to feel heard. And you can't create empathy without first understanding what the person you're talking to is going through and what they need. So there's no empathy there if there's no customer there. And I know that if you're listening to this podcast, you're a heart-centered business owner, and that might be hard to hear. Go and have a look at your website before you come along to the event on Tuesday. I'm going to get you to do it anyway on Tuesday, and have a look at whether you're doing that. Is that one of the pitfalls that you've fallen into, that it's talking about your qualifications? Or another one that I see, the second problem I see, is there's a title, there's a booking calendar, one button, and then there's just absolutely loads of services. Have this, or this, or this, or this, or this. And so instead of putting you up front, you've put all your products up front. I know I've done an episode about how I did this in the early stages of Edufolios. I made the sales page all about the features and benefits. It does this and this and this, and it uses this tech and this tech and this tech. And my sales were really slow because nobody cared. What they cared about was, I have this problem. Can you help me solve that problem? And I had forgotten to mention that I understood their problem or how those features and benefits solved their problem, because I was too busy going, wow, check out this cool stuff. This product has these specs. And because they weren't coming to my website already familiar with what a portfolio was and how it might help them with their problem, there was a huge gap. And so sales were slower. So the second way a message can be misaligned is if you put your product up first without, you've guessed it, connecting and talking about your customer. Maybe you've got a good message, like you've talked about your customer, you're talking to your customer. But when it comes to taking action with you, I don't know how. I don't know. I have lots of questions about how I work with you or how I buy with you. And immediately my brain is kicking in with lots of questions and fear. And so I get overwhelmed because I don't know how to book in with you. I need to call you. Maybe I don't want to call you. I just want to go to a calendar and book in with you. Maybe the button is in the wrong place on the page and I've scrolled down and I've got all these doubts and it's too hard. Now you might be thinking, that's ridiculous, Selena. But the research shows that the minute a customer becomes confused, they say no. The minute it gets too hard, they say no. I know my own contact forms. If I ask for your name and email and that is it, you are far more likely to fill that form in than if I ask you for your name, your email, your phone number, your business name, and how many employees you've got and what revenue are you turning over. Do you know why? Because it's too hard. And some of you don't want me to have that. You've decided you don't want to give me your phone number yet. That's fine. Okay, so keeping the barrier to entry really low by having lots of easy ways. One easy way, but everywhere. So it's easy to click to work with you. Make it clear what the steps are. And you know, if you've been listening to this podcast, that of course I'm tapping in to the story brand framework. The customer's journey, their problem, you as the guide, the steps they take. And of course, in the event, I am going to show you a story brand framework. If you're not sure what one looks like, come along. I'll coach you through it. I'll show you where it shows up in the message. SelenaWoodward.com/event. That's SELENAWOODWARD.com/EVENT. Go in there. I think I've asked your name, your email. I think there's one more question. I can't remember. I've made the form very short. Do comment below if it's too hard and I've created a barrier to entry. It's a free event, no barrier there. Lunchtime on Tuesday. SelenaWoodward.com/event if you would like me to show you the story brand framework, all its parts, and you can ask me questions about it. It's going to be really fun. As part of that event, I'm also going to be showing you some before and after sort of stuff from some of my clients. Like, what did their website and message look like before? How does it look now? And I'm going to be asking you to spot the elements of the story brand framework and connect the dots here. So if you've been listening to the podcast and you couldn't quite imagine what that looked like, this is an opportunity for you to definitely connect the dots there. So come along. So for example, one of my clients, the beautiful mama mentor, Kirsty Maddox, I'm very proud of her. She will be laughing and possibly a bit embarrassed that she knows I'm talking about her, but I do this with love because I'm very proud of her. She is someone who came to work with me to clarify her message and work on her brand. And her original website very much was services, lots of content. It was getting confusing for a customer because there wasn't much there that really spoke to their journey, which is really strange for Kirsty and probably didn't sit right with Kirsty because Kirsty is very much a very soul-orientated entrepreneur. She is incredibly connected into women's health and women's journeys. It's very important to her. And I think she'd fallen into the trap of the website is the gateway to all my services. And so we have spent some time together having a lot of fun realigning her website to talk to the women that she wants to serve. In fact, go and listen to the first episode of the Fertility Frequency podcast because I had to message her and celebrate when I heard that episode because her brand message is absolutely so powerful that it made us go back to the website and add some more quotes and tweaks as she really stands in her power in her message, and it really sort of resonates. I get shivers thinking about it. And I will talk to you more about some of the clients I've worked with and show you examples of what it looked like before, what's happening now, and why that's awesome. What are the results for those clients? So it's a really, really beautiful thing. I love celebrating all of those beautiful clients. One day, maybe I will be celebrating you and your beautiful message here on the podcast. I would love to do that. So come along to the event and let's connect and let me show you some things. It's going to be exciting. And of course, we're using that story brand framework all the time to create that clarity and to dive deep and alchemize that message so it resonates deliciously and in line with you and your customer, and you're building a message that's 100% authentic to you so that your customer knows you're there for them. You pull in the right customers. It's very cool. So if you're able to and you're not driving, I'd love to offer you the opportunity to really tune into what that's like for a customer coming across a business who has that messaging aligned and is right. So let's take a moment to just connect in with our ideal client. And yes, I want you to pick one. And if you can't do that, well, we need to talk. One ideal client. Just imagine them. And we're going to go on a journey with them. We're going to show them some messaging and marketing content. So just take a deep breath. Really connect in with that ICA, that ideal customer avatar. Then imagine them. Are they on their phone, looking through their phone on Instagram? Are they looking at your website because they have questions and they're in that enlightenment, curiosity phase, commitment phase? Are they ready to go? Ready to buy? Are they reading an email that you've sent them? Think of a message that you've sent out recently. What are your customers? Where do your customers communicate with you? A vlog? A post? A landing page on your website? Social media, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram? Imagine them there looking at your message. Picture them engaging with your message, and as they read it, they feel instantly seen and understood. They read your words, They see the images you've chosen that represent other language and other sentiments, and it resonates with them deeply. They see that you understand where they're at in their journey, and they acknowledge that you have some tools here, some products, some services that make them curious and make them go, oh, I wonder if that's for me. Because your message is very centered on your customer and their needs. So imagine them now wanting to take the next step, wanting to find out more, wanting to book with you. Imagine, how do they do that? If they're on Instagram and they want to take the next step, how do they do that? If they're on an email, have you provided for that? If they're on your website, have you provided for that? They want to take the next step. And it's really easy for them to do that. There's a button they click, they can book an appointment. There's a button they click, they can download a PDF that gives them an opportunity to dive deeper into one aspect of what you are selling or teaching that will help them to understand the possibilities of working with you. Can you feel and see how light they feel, how things are shifting and changing for them? That's what we want with your messaging. We want them to be leaning in, being curious, being very clear that you understand their problem and that you have the solution that they need. You are not selling lawn mowing. You are selling a weekend where you don't have to lift a finger and you can just enjoy your back garden. What is it that they want from your product? Not just what is your product. How can you help them? Not just what are your qualifications. All of this and more we're going to explore in lots of little activities, coaching activities, meditations, etc. in that event on Tuesday. And I can't wait to show you some tips, practical things that you can use to evaluate your messaging and start to tweak it. Just head to selenawoodward.com/event and grab your ticket. I'd love to see you there. Because when your message is aligned with your clients, it will feel like that for you and for them every time. It will feel easy, it will feel hopeful, it will feel exciting, and you will attract the right client, people you want to work with and who want to work with you. In fact, your message should shoo away the ones that you don't want to work with and make it very easy for those who don't want to work with you to know that straight away. So we reduce the tire kickers or the ones that aren't ready to buy for you. How does that sound? Head to selenawoodward.com/event and I will see you there on Tuesday the 15th of October. Can't wait to see you. That's it for this week on the Inner Business Podcast. Keep building your beautiful, purposeful, 100% authentic you business. And I will see you this time next week. Take care.